It was through some of the darkest times of my life when spirit began to make itself known to me through signs and clues from the other side. It helped me understand that I was not alone, that I was connected, and there was more to life than just this experience. I call those magic moments. I'm Christy Simoncelli, and I'll be your host for this podcast, Unreasonable Magic, where I will share some of the most compelling stories that cannot be explained away through logic from my work as a psychic medium, an astrologer, and a human design consultant, working with clients in my own life. Please join me for the magic. Hey, everybody, and welcome back to Unreasonable Magic. This is episode 11, and I am Christy Simoncelli, your host. We have a special guest today. If you've been following the podcast at all, then you know that I have referenced my spirit whisperer friend. So the one that she tells me things and I have to pay attention. I have called her E.F. Hutton in the past. And if you're not old enough to know who E.F. Hutton is or was, way back in the olden times when you have to get off your butt to turn the TV channel, there was commercials on TV and it always said, when E.F. Hutton talks, people listen. And I don't really know what E.F. Hutton did. I think it was some kind of financial brokerage firm or something. But anyway, without further ado, let me introduce you to my E.F. Hutton, who does help me with things and has introduced me to some of the best things in my life. I'll introduce my dear friend, Annamaria Masucci. Anna, welcome to Unreasonable Magic. Tell us about
Hi.
yourself.
I'm so excited to be here. I
Me
just want you to
too.
know, this is really nice. I just got goosebumps, so I love this. Also, thank you for listening to me because as a parent, that is not something I'm used to hearing, is that somebody actually listens to me. So thank you. I'm glad that at least there's someone there who does.
Yeah, I'm here for you. Here for you. Plus, you do have that undefined throat in human design, which can make it so that you need an audience. Like, you need people who will listen to you.
I get very triggered when people don't listen to me.
And I know we're jumping ahead here, but I know we have
Mhm.
looked in the past that both of your boys have defined throat centers. In fact, I do believe your younger son, has like every single gate in his throat center defined and therefore has the extra abundant voice, if that will, but maybe a smart mouth, maybe a lot of things coming out of it, some sassy
That
things.
tracks. Yeah.
And when someone has an undefined center and lives with people who have it defined, the one who has it undefined can feel sometimes like they don't have access to it at all. And those people are talking over them and they're not listening to me and I don't hear myself and all of that. So, and I know that's also having teenage boys in the house, but
Sure is.
yeah. Tell us about you, Anna.
Yeah, so it's so funny because when you said when we were talking the pre stuff and you're like, tell us about yourself. I'm like, I never know what to say there. So it's weird, right?
Well, we know you're a mother of two boys.
Yes, I work full time. I
Yeah.
typical Capricorn, have at least 3 jobs at all times.
Yeah.
I currently only have 2. So that's a big deal for me. I'm on my perimenopause journey, which I feel like is very important to talk about because no one does. I have a wonderful partner who is like some kind of magic
He's boy
person.
Christy.
He's something. And I'm just struggling to survive. So just fighting for my life over here. So really just like everybody else, community is super important to me. I think that it keeps coming up as like really important, but having that sense of community, feeling like you're part of a community and just feeling supported by your coven.
And you're really good at building community, not just being in one. Like, you're really good at also at like making community happen.
Thank you for saying that.
And we will talk about why when we get to your human design chart. So just as a preface, Anna and I will chit chat a little, but we're going to talk a little bit about her charts and stuff too, because I want y'all to get a sense of how this shows up in real life. And so the way that my brain is trained at this point, any conversation I have, and it doesn't mean I'm not listening, but most conversations I have, I'm listening intently for keywords, numbers, because, life moves in phases and cycles. And also, like, you tell me I love community, which I know this to be true about you. And I can already tell you where it is in your human design chart because I know that chart pretty well. And so then also, Anna has her own podcast that you've had now for several years. How long have you had your podcast?
We were in typical us fashion. So the podcast is called Let's Just Go for One. I do it with my friend Faith, and it's basically us yapping. For a few seasons, we had guests come on and stuff. And then the last probably year and a half, we've been like, let's just whatever. I feel like this is the momentum here, is it's just like, whatever, let's just fight for our lives and talk about pop culture and Bravo and all of the good stuff.
Yeah.
So, but we've been doing it since 2019.
That's amazing. I have to pull up because I know I did the chart for Let's Just Go for one time when you were in guest mode and I was a guest on your podcast. That was my first time on a podcast. So thank you for that. And I remember when you started this, I was like, yes, Anna, I love that journey for you. Because you love your TV. You love the TV.
I really
But
do.
for a person who lives in a house full of testosterone and defined throat centers, if you have an undefined throat center, you need an audience. And so knowing that there are people tuning in to hear you who are like, oh, I can't wait to hear what Anna and Faith have to say about this episode of whatever Bravo show you're watching. It's like so vindicated for that throat center. It's like putting lotion on your dry skin. It's like my ashy throat now has some moisture to it, right? So it's like giving yourself access to that, which I think is just beautiful. So
I love that.
yeah, it's
That
such
makes
a
a lot of
thing.
sense that you say it like that.
And I remember when you were starting it, I mean, it can feel really validating to be like, listen, these kids don't listen to me. Maybe, no one else listens to me, but these people on the podcast, they are showing up to listen to me. And that's gorgeous and stunning. I mean, there's a lot of good that comes with having the undefined throat too. You have access to a wide range. You can learn all kinds of languages. You could sing songs. You could talk for days around all kinds of topics, but it's an inconsistent energy. But I feel like the podcast gives you that permission to just be like, listen to me, right?
There would be some people who would argue that I cannot sing songs. So, whatever.
Capacity. It doesn't
We
say you
don't
had to do
need-
it
yeah.
well, but you could you could do it. You could learn things. You could be like a mimic. You could mime. You could, I don't know. Language could be very versatile for you. But let's talk about when we met, because I've known your sister Rosanna for most of my life, but I didn't know you till I was like an adult person.
I love that. An adult person. Well, it's been so
Which
we are
was
both
up for argument, I think, there.
Right.
When did that start? Has that started? Yeah.
I feel like we've grown up together, actually.
A little bit. Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah.
Mhm.
So yeah, we are both working at Roswell. I had started there, when was it? In 2008.
Okay.
I was in a department where there were not people really my age and who wanted to be friends with me. So I saw you and I had remembered you, and I was talking to my sister Rosanna. Oh, I think your friend Christy Hens works with me. So we said hello one day, and Fran
That was
got
it.
very mad.
Yeah. Our other
Yes.
friend, and we have many
Yes.
friends, but our collective group of who was definitely our core group at Roswell, Fran. If she ever listens, I doubt that we could send it to her. She won't listen. But Fran, who was my friend first, but Fran was someone I worked with directly in my office, and in which probably just really getting to know her as well, because I, for at least the first year or so I was at Roswell, was banished to the basement, and I worked alone in the dark place with a couple people nearby, but no one wanted to talk to me either. So when I did get into the light and I met people, I moved upstairs and I met Fran and other people. And I feel like, and if, for me, I was like, I feel like I just saw Anna one day and we were just like, you want to have lunch? I was like, okay. And then this kind of happened. Like there was no discussion. There was no like, oh, this isn't awkward, because we just always hit it off. But I remember one day we were going to lunch. I was with Fran and some of the girls in my office. I'm like, oh, hey, there's a new girl downstairs. Let's go pick up Anna. And Fran was like, no, we're not going to get her. Why do we have to go have lunch with her all the time? No. And she would get super territorial. And I remember you always just kind of took it in stride. You're like, whatever, this mean girl, that's fine. Like, we don't.
She didn't like me. It's okay.
Doesn't like you. And honestly, she'll tell you now that means this is what she did to all the people she loves the most. Is she kind of had to, learn that she loved you. But in the meantime, apparently she always loved me, and then she wanted to pee on me to prove that you could not have me.
Yep.
Only Fran could be my friend. And Fran really does still. She gets jealous if we make new friends.
Yeah. Which, I
And
mean, the irony, because this one is making all the friends.
Yeah, and then meanwhile, she's got all these other friends now. Her new Christy and Anna at work.
Yes, are great.
And
So
they're perfect. I was like, "This is we found a new Christy and Anna," and so that was great. But, yeah, so that's how we met, and that is funny because I just like I said, I feel like I just always knew you. And then the 2 of you got pregnant around the same time, I think.
yeah, that's what broke Fran's guard.
Yeah.
We were both pregnant and she was like, "Okay, we're friends." I was like,
Loves a
"Okay."
pregnant woman, and also you and she both like to throw down the food. There's a good eating gene there. That's
Yeah.
actually on point too.
Yeah.
And you guys have so much in common. I mean, you both come from, like, families who were recent immigrants, and you went through a lot, like, culturally similar experiences, but, like, you
Yeah.
guys had to get Fran to get over herself to open that door for you. And turns out Italy and Lebanon probably aren't that far apart in a lot
No.
of the things that they do.
I think that this is what I've learned as I got older, because when I was a kid and was a daughter of immigrants, first generation, like, turns out that wasn't cool, but there were so many strict rules that my parents had, and my friends were just like, "What is going on?" Like, I don't know anything about that life. So when Fran and I bonded about that, I was like, "Oh my god, I feel really seen. Feel
Yeah,
really
and
seen."
in another universe, some other part of Buffalo, there was Fran who was living the same life as you, and you just didn't know it because you didn't have any other friends whose parents were immigrants, and so there you have it. That's a whole experience, and I think it's also really cool, like, from my perspective,
Mhm.
that I didn't have a lot of friends like you guys growing up, but now 2 of my dearest friends are, the culture piece is so fascinating to me, like, I love all of that because it just I'm basic, we got nothing going on. We make party potatoes for things and, like,
Yeah.
Texas sheet cake and stuff like that, but there's no, like, nothing you can't pronounce or spell and nothing, and it probably all came from, like, the back of a Velveeta box recipe or something. There's no culture. We have no culture.
And I had stovetop, and I asked my mom if she was okay.
See, this is it. This is it. And this is even like with Dave, my husband, his grandparents were immigrants, Italian
Mhm.
immigrants, and his grandmother would just like break the chicken's neck and preserve it for dinner and stuff. And so
1000%.
he grew up everything from scratch. And my mother was like, I work, I got 3 kids. What are you doing? Your father runs a business. We're going to eat out of the box. And so we didn't have anything from scratch. God rest my mother's soul. She did a few
Yeah.
things really well, but no, it's such a difference, like, for me to, like, even eat stuff that's prepared by your families or that kinda thing is, like, night and day. It's like, "Whoa, what happened here?" Um, but anyway, my mother, though, could make all sorts of cocktails. We were really good at the drinks
That is
part
a good skill.
thing, so, yeah. I still have a really great sangria recipe if anybody wants it.
Yes.
Anyway, obviously, we have sidebarred a little bit. But for
Right.
me, the reason I was gonna say that is because I have Jupiter in the 9th house, which does deal with things like foreign travel and foreign people, and so I find growth and abundance by connecting with people who have, new cultures and stuff, so that's kinda cool. And I just have to share this one so I know I just wanna say too, you and I have taken a lot of classes together. We've done a
Mhm.
lot of our um, trainings together. We did yoga teacher training together back in like 2019, 2020. Both
Mhm.
still work at the same studio. I always tell my people who are usually your students, I'm like, it's okay. Anna and I went to school together. Like we trained together. We do it the same way. So I talk about that. But then you were in my mediumship class with me.
Mhm.
In fact, I think had you not been in that class, I don't think I would have stuck with it because I think I had, like, a psychosomatic illness the first night of class because I was like, I was terrified to do this, and I was like, I can't go to class, I can't go." We started meeting in person because it started before COVID, and, you were like, "I'll get notes for you, it's fine, like, I'll get you all the things," and I remember you giving me the list of things, I'm like, "I can't do this, I can't do 40 readings for free for weird people," like, not that they're weird, I was weird, but I'm like, I can't do 1 reading, like, 40? You want me to do 40 readings?" And there we went, and we did it, and it was great. I did hear from an inside source that we were star students, but I don't have evidence to prove we're star
That
students.
makes my little Capricorn heart so happy.
Yeah, yeah, I heard that from a behind the scenes person who was like, "Ooh, Christy and Anna, those are the hot ones to watch." So, sorry to anybody else who was in our class way back then, but, but
I'm not sorry. You got what you
listen,
got.
kill it! And then you just decided to do it, and I had to make it what I do for work, right? So I can't
Mhm.
explain all that. Why I always have to go that way, I don't understand. One of, I think, the very most favorite things that ever happened, and you were not there, but you were definitely a part of it. I don't think I've talked about this yet in the podcast, but through some of the classes I took in the beginning with our teacher, she did some meditations that were like past life regression stuff. So I did a little bit of that in class in a group setting. But then later on, maybe when my kids were in college-ish, I did work with a gentleman named Peter who does past life regressions. He's a hypnotist, and he's amazing. So if anybody wants to do hypnosis and get into the past life regressions, I also have, my friend Colleen who does that now, but I didn't know her then. So I worked with Peter, and he really helped me because I had a lot of weird around the work that I was doing, and he really helped me understand the why of it and why I had such reservations about it. And so in the one past life regression, which I had sort of done with our teacher, but then he and I did it in greater detail. I was a wizard. I was like the man wizard and a warlock. I don't know, whatever you call these people. In old timey, like I felt like Sir Lancelot was going to cruise up on the scene. Like this was old. It was like this really old ancient-y kind of experience. And I was an advisor to the king. And the king was nuts. And there was war everywhere. And I tried to explain to him, like, the people want this to stop. The people want peace. The people are done with the war. They don't want the war. You have to stop. And he
This
did
sounds
not.
very familiar.
I know, really. I can't imagine. And in that lifetime, when we like jumped ahead 5 years, I'd been banished from the kingdom. And in the first one I did that was true. I was banished from the kingdom, but I didn't know anything more. But Peter and I dug into it. And I was living in like the woods in a little cottage. And he's like, well, look around. Who else do you know? And I'm like, oh my God, Anna's here. I was like,
Love
Anna
that.
is my wife, and she's over there like stregonota with the cauldron. And at first I'm like, she's making soup. But then I was like, no, I think she's making potions and stuff. And so, in long and short, I was doing some stuff, writing a thing, probably a book that never got published, just like I'm doing now. And like all these things I was doing, and you were making stuff over at the thing. And I remember telling him, like, Anna, you were my wife when I got banished from the kingdom for being the advisor to the king, for saying what I thought. And that's sort of a through line in my life where people might listen to me, but they don't like what I say. And so they banished me to the kingdom and whatever. There was lots of other things. And you're like, cool. Like, not a beat was skipped. You're just like, cool. Like, yeah, this makes all the sense, actually.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
It's like, well, when you have friends who are like-minded and you even sharing the story now, I'm like, yep, that
Yeah.
makes sense. That makes sense.
I can see it. It tracks, right?
Cottage in the woods? Sign me up.
Like, wait a minute. Even if it was just us, there weren't any kids, there was no dogs, nobody
Right.
needed anything
I was
from
just
us.
making potions and people left me alone? What?
I'm doodling in my book, and I was drawing some shapes and symbols, and you're over there. And this was before I even like intensely studied astrology. And then later when I did energy medicine yoga training, which I did that after our initial yoga teacher training, all those elements and all this stuff. And I'm like, elements. Back then when I was working with Peter, I'm like, oh, there's a pentagram. Does this mean I'm like a devil worshiper or whatever? And like, turns out, no, that's not what this is. This is nature. And yeah, so it was kind of a wild thing. So I'll put the contact info for Peter in the show notes because
Yeah.
if anybody is interested, he does a really great job. Maybe I'll talk about the past life stuff in another episode. Part of the reason, though, I wanted you to come on, well, obviously because you're Anna, you have
My
Hutton.
charming personality.
Your charming
obviously.
personality. But you are also interested in astrology stuff. You've always been an astrology person. And I thought it would be fun to have you come on and we could talk about your chart a little bit in non-scary terms for people who get weirded out by the words. But for the listeners' purposes, Anna has a Capricorn Sun. She is a Leo rising and her moon is in Pisces. And we were talking before the episode started recording. Anna has an impressive Virgo stellium in her second house of money, self-esteem, resources, things you need to get stuff done. There's just this overtone of Virgo in Anna's life. And I know your partner is a Virgo. You have a child who's a Virgo. I think even your first husband was a Virgo. Like there's Virgo. You have Virgo is like around you, right?
My Jude has Virgo moon or rising.
And I love a good Capricorn because, and Anna, I think, is the first person I actually said this to, as a Cancer rising myself, we tend to do better with the people who are opposite of our ascendant. So Anna's a Leo rising. She would do well with Aquarius people. And I am a Cancer rising. My opposite is Capricorn. And so they're kind of like when signs are opposite like that, it's kind of like two sides of the same coin.
Mhm.
But there's some balancing factor that kind of goes on with them. So Cancer is about the mother and it's nurturing and caring. And then Capricorn's very like paternal themes and structure and responsibility. And so if you put the two together, you got a kick-ass team, right? So I
Mhm.
have 0 earth energy in my chart. And when I need help with something, because I get a little all over the place, I'll be like, I need a Capricorn. I'll call Anna and I'll say, Anna, can you Capricorn something for me? And she
Mhm.
will. And it's great. And she's like, sure, let's get the paper out. I'm going to get a ruler and everything and we'll do stuff. And we get into it. But it's so helpful to me to have that Capricorn help because I don't have that structure on my own. And generally, you could also say the same thing about dating or marrying or partnering with people who are your opposite
Mhm.
of your ascendant. I have never dated or married a Capricorn as far as I know anyway.
You're
But I
lost.
but I have an abundant litany of Capricorn women in my life that I call on for different things, and I love them so much. So Capricorns are my soul friends for sure.
I love that.
So I do love that. I have my sun in the 10th house, which adds a little bit of a subcontext of Capricorn to my Aries sun, but I don't feel it a lot of the time, I'll be honest with you. It's fine. But we also were talking about, and this is why it's important for especially for the listeners to know your dominant element and the dominant mode. We haven't really talked much about the mode at this time, but Anna, I think we went with the presumption that it was Earth because of all of your Earth. Virgo is Earth, and then that Sun. And no, turns out you have more fire than you have Earth. And your primary mode, so modes are what is like the natural energy of a sign.
Mhm.
So Aries, Cancer, the ones that start the seasons are cardinal signs. So your
Mhm.
Capricornness is cardinal, tends to be bossy, authoritative leadership qualities. Like, I can start something. Let me get this going. I'm going to establish the foundation. That's the cardinal signs. They're not always as good as finishing the things as they
My
are
God, I feel that so hard.
doing. Yeah, it's definitely a
Feel
vibe.
it.
Yeah, Dave is a cardinal person.
Ooh.
Um, and but that's not your primary mode. Your primary mode actually is mutable. So
What does that mean?
mutable, that's the Virgo,
Mhm.
that's the Pisces moon, that's the Sagittarius, other stuff that you have. Mutable is the energy at the end of the season. So think about when I'm teaching a class, I always say, think about like you're excited about those like first days of spring. You're like, yes, we can do spring. And then at the end, it's kind of like, is this summer still or hot or spring? Or I don't know. It's like some days it's warm and some days it's not. And you're in that transitional time. So between every time a season changes, the sign that ends that season is mutable. Now, the signs in the middle that we didn't talk about are fixed. So this is like your Scorpio and Leo and Taurus energy. Aquarius, duh. Those signs that continue the season. So, like, in the middle of, like, now where it's, like, you know, swamp outside and a orange sky, and you're like, "Is this summer gonna go on forever?" Leo
Mhm.
is like, "Yes, yes, it is. It is gonna go on forever, and you'll be fine with that." So that fixed energy tends to be more durable energy. They can stick with stuff. The commitment is there. It depends what parts of your chart are ruled by these different modes, if you will. But everybody has one primary element and mode. Sometimes people are kind of like split, but yours is technically, if you have fire and mutable, Sagittarius would be more of an energy that would track for you than your earthy stuff, which I could see both for you. It's pretty
Mhm.
not like a outward winner. How does that even feel like to say that?
Think a lot of stuff makes sense. I think I need to process this. I
This is
feel like
like
I've been
variety.
earthy.
Think about I'm earthy and grounded, but I need variety. Maybe this is why I have 5 jobs, which I know you don't currently only have 2, but I've seen you have 5 and it's a lot. Yeah. Um,
It's kinda like okay, so when I'm gonna sidetrack us a little bit, um, but this came up, so I feel like I need to say it. It's like when I am doing a recipe, I do not follow one recipe. I read, like, 3 or 4,
and
and I
improvise.
take what I like from each one
Yeah.
and then make it my own. So
Yeah.
this kinda feels like that.
Yeah. I will say too, I'll give you that around that, but I also, because then I'm like the earthy person wants to cook for sure,
Mhm.
like nourish the family, feed our people. You and I both have Venus in Aquarius, okay? And this to me, I was just thinking about this morning. I'm like, if I had to make a list of the things I love, I'm like, most of them are the unusual thing. Like, I never want the cookie cutter, the basic. I always want something to be a little bit interesting. I need something. Like when I remember when I found out I was having twins, I'm like, that's so cool. I'm not just having one baby, I'm having two babies. Until then they came out. I was like,
Until you
holy
had 2
shit,
babies.
what the hell is this? But you and I both have Venus and Aquarius. And so when I say that's like Venus, what you love, what you
Mhm.
value, and Aquarius is like a new way of doing things, innovator. Like I want to mix it up. I don't want to have the same car as everybody. I don't want to wear the same clothes as everybody. I want interesting things. Like I was just, and this was prompted because I was listening to music while I was making cookies this morning, and I heard Teddy Swims do a cover of Journey's "Don't Stop Believin'," and I was like, "I love this." I'm like, "Thank you, Teddy Swims, for making this happen," because I love an interesting cover. I do. Like,
Yeah,
it's like,
same.
I love that. It's interesting, right? But
Mhm.
this also is your love of community because Aquarius rules groups of people. It's the collective. Like, so thinking about that Venus energy for you in Aquarius is actually pretty important. Um, because it does indicate what you love and what you're doing and stuff like that. I did wanna
Makes
touch
a lot of
too.
sense.
I could go on for hours about the things in your chart, but,
I could listen for hours about the
the
things in my chart.
thing the things in your human design chart that point more towards this love of community, some of the channels that you have, um, one that's called community is
Mhm.
actually you have that one. You can think about it as someone who's really good at bringing people together,
Mhm.
but also, like, your family, maybe you're the one who's always making the plans, you're the one who pays, like, "Hey, you haven't been in a while, you need to come," or you're also the one who might be good at, like, holding the history of the family and getting the people together in a meaningful way. We're not gonna just show up, we're gonna do a thing, or we're gonna make a
Mhm.
plan or have a thing. And part of that channel for you is in, Jupiter in your chart, which is where you find joy and abundance, and so that's interesting too. You also have this other energy, I'll call it, where you are here to help create intimacy. Not, and I don't mean that in the bedroom, although maybe you are doing that
No,
too,
no.
but
Open to that.
in you are here to like bond with people, make connections with people. And I know one of the things Fran always complains about how you have so many friends. Why
Yeah.
do you have so many friends? You're always making friends, Anna.
Yeah. She's
But
not wrong. She's not wrong.
it's part of who you are, and then people naturally bond to you because you have this very relatable energy. Now, the dark side of this is that people end up thinking they know you better than they do, and they start, like, inviting you to their parties, and you're like, "I'm sure I don't know your name yet," but, that could be a thing too. So if you've had that where people think they know you better than
What? Oh,
yeah,
yeah. Yeah.
they start to get a little too familiar with you when you're not really ready for all that.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think of, that episode of Parks and Recreation when Ron Swanson is like, "When people get too familiar with me, I like to ask them what their name is again." Like, something like that. I think I totally butchered that. Or, like, I call them by the wrong name.
Yeah. Yeah, that's super entertaining. That for you is part of your Saturn energy, which is where you have to have rules and boundaries around. So that might be a thing that you need to learn about is like, okay,
Yeah.
I can make friends and I can connect people, but I don't have to be intimately involved in everyone's life, if that makes sense. Your profile in human design is that you're a 4-6. And
Mhm.
the 4 line is the network, it's the community line, like, that's the person who your best opportunities will come through people connections. It doesn't have to be someone you know, it could even be someone else knows, but it's never really a blind thing for you. Like, you could if you were in some kinda job and you had to do, like, cold calls or something,
Mhm.
that would probably feel horrible for you,
It does.
it would be so not a good use of your resources.
Yeah.
So I think that that's an important thing to point out, but the 4 line really is here to people. There's a peopling energy with you that's fairly profound. And then the 6, so then the 4-6, it's one of my favorite profiles. Again, I seem to have a lot of these people in my life. Dave is a 4-6. I have many friends who are 4-6s. I love a good 4-6. They're very stabilizing people too for my flating mutable energy. But I love that mutable is both of our predominant element. That makes sense. But the sixth line, and this one you might find interesting, so I'm not sure if we've talked about this.
Mhm.
So the sixth part of your profile is someone who learns by mistake. Like, you're a trial and error person.
My God.
Yeah, and so, generally, the rule of thumb is between birth and your first Saturn return, which would happen somewhere around 29 or 30, your life's one big experiment. Like, I'm just gonna mess this up, bump into that wall, see what that feels like, go out with that weirdo, like, red flags? Cool, I love a red flag. Like, that can very much be the first chunk of your life, and then from about, that Saturn return on, so around 29, 30, until you're about 50, so you're not there yet, you're kinda like, I'm done with this. I don't wanna make the mistakes anymore. I would like to withdraw from this setting and go in the background, right? So we call this being on the roof. It's on the roof period. And what you do then is, because you can't help it, because you're very attuned to what is going on around you, you watch everybody else make mistakes. You're like, oh, look at that guy doing. I could have told him that was a dumb thing to do, but you don't care because you're stepping back. You're like, nah, I'm not interested anymore. I'm just gonna step back. I'm gonna watch y'all make mistakes. And then when you get to be old like me, around your Chiron return, so 50, 51, you then all of a sudden, it's like the sixth line people then can no longer hide out. They get called to the surface. So like, hey,
Mhm.
we need you. We know you've screwed up the first 30 years of your life. Then those next 20, you just kind of sat and watched everybody else do it. Now you know everything. We need you, oh wise one, come teach us. Like, that's kind of what happens. So you're not there yet. But you probably are feeling that emergence too. There's a strong mentorship quality for these people. Like, I want to teach someone these things. And sometimes the sixth line begrudgingly steps into that role, but then they really are good at it. Like, they're really
Mhm.
good at the teaching and the mentoring and the sharing and being that wise one. And so I don't know how that feels for you, but that's really important. You seem to light up when I talked about the learning by mistakes.
Yes. Oh my God. It is so as you're saying all of this stuff, a lot of what I'm thinking about is the work I've been doing with Village Engaged. So Village Engaged is a nonprofit. Our space is in the village, but also like we're trying to expand outside of the village, right?
Okay.
It's not just about the people in Hamburg. There are people who have needs everywhere. And plus, we're trying not to be, you can't sit with us if you don't live in the village.
Yeah.
So
Hey, I don't live in the village. I work there a lot, but I don't live there, no.
yeah. So for me, it was really important when I was asked to take on the role as president. It was the existing president was kind of going through a transitional role where she could not take on everything. And she took on everything. When I joined, I was at a point in my life, I need to not take on everything. There's too much. I think I described it as prioritizing my time to more meaningful things. So not showing up for everything, showing up for what's really important for me.
Yes, quality over quantity.
Yeah, so a lot of that is I find that when I'm working, whether it's like working on a project at work or doing this with Village Engaged, I find that I am very good at listening to what people are talking about. Because, I mean, I think we both know people just want to be heard.
Sure.
They
Yeah.
want to feel seen. So, how do we make that kind of environment for people where they feel seen and they feel heard and they feel like they can be their true selves because they feel like they can be vulnerable, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like that's what I do. I probably disclose way too much personal information on our podcast and in front of
Everybody's looking it
people.
up now. I wanna get on there and watch.
It's not it's not that interesting. But it's like I do these things because they can make you feel so isolated and they can make you feel, what am I doing wrong? How, like I'm the one who's messing something up. I'm the one not doing something right. And it's not. It's there are so many people who are going through things that they don't talk about because that's not the culture. Like right now we're in the social media, everybody's like
All the time.
comparing everything they do to everything that everybody else is doing. And it's like, no, everyone is a mess. Everyone
Everybody.
is a mess.
Everybody.
Yeah.
They love.
And we all have these vulnerabilities and we all have these things that we think we really suck at. And yeah, there are some things that we do suck at, but there are so many things we're doing really, really well. And I feel like that kind of stuff is just not celebrated enough. So I find if I can be vulnerable and I can be open and I can be honest about things, that creates the environment for people to then feel that trust and be
Very
able
self-growth.
to, yeah. So that's really how I've been trying to live my life, especially over the past, I would say, 10 years. I've really started moving towards that stuff, especially in the past 5.
So I love all of the things you're saying. I was trying to find a book.
Oh, mhm.
There was a book that I was trying to find in my heap of my desk, which I thought I cleaned, but I guess I didn't do it that well. Written by the previous Surgeon General, that book Connection or Connected. I don't remember
Hmm.
what it's called.
I
I'll
don't know
throw
that
it in the
one.
show notes. But the book is written by so this is going way off tangent, but Anna and I, when we worked at Roswell, I worked on cancer prevention research. Anna's work was specific to tobacco control issues. And so generally, the Surgeon General of the United States would write a thing about tobacco control because it's something that is abomination in our country and the world and something that could be controlled and many lives would be saved. And just for the fun facts, because I like to share fun facts, did you know, listeners, that if the tobacco companies wanted to, they could make cigarettes safer? They could freeze dry them and that would reduce like half of the chemical load in cigarettes. But anyway, I digress. That's typically what you would expect from a surgeon general, something like that. Like, hey, everybody, smoking's bad. Here's all
Mhm.
the statistics to say why. But this surgeon general wrote about social isolation. And he wrote about how being socially isolated is the equivalent of smoking a half a pack of cigarettes every day. Even if you walk around with your smoothie and spinach and working out and going to Pilates, but you don't have any people, half a pack of cigarettes a day. And
Yeah.
so, and I touched on this in a recent episode a little bit. I didn't talk about that book, but I would encourage people to read that if you find that interesting. But like, people need people. And I think that's why there's so many podcasts and there's so much out there is that people wanna be heard and seen and connected. Anna,
Mhm.
you're really good at it. Like, that's part of many of the gifts. If we spent, like, another hour going through your charts, I would say, like, these are some of the special skills you bring to the table. In
Thank
human
you.
design, we always look at the gate of the personality sun as sort of a dictate around what you would be really good at or what you're like a gift that you would have. And yours is all about self love. And I feel like when I look at all of your energies, I feel like you are here on a journey to master self love and then to teach everyone else how to do it. And it's such not an easy journey. Good Lord. I mean,
No!
good Lord.
I haven't finished it, PS.
Working on it.
Yeah. Always.
But it is something that you're here to really rock with, and there's a lot of energy around that for you. You have in the very center of your chart, there's a big diamond in the middle, and that's called the identity center. Most of your energy is in that identity center. It's your most active center, if we're going to talk about that. Um, and so to me, that's like I always look at the most active center as like a real dedicated energy source for you. And for you, it's like knowing who you are, knowing your non negotiables, knowing what your values are. And for you, because you have this 4-6 profile, you need your people. And 4 lines always want to share back what they know. The 6 is here to become the expert at something. Your expertise, I think, is going to lie in building community, building intimacies, learning about self love, and then showing everybody else how to do it really well in the most Venus in Aquarius authentic way possible. That's what I have for you.
What does that look like
Ah,
in the most Venus Aquarius way?
well, you're gonna wanna do it you're not gonna copy anyone. Like, you're gonna have to come up with your own model because Venus in Aquarius just isn't gonna thrive when it's trying to be somebody else.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, and I can't tell you, like, the exact formula of what this is gonna look like, but I know something that you and I have talked about in the past and have passion around is, like, group education
Mhm.
around different sorts of topics. I think what did we call it? We're gonna do something. I
The
wanted
hatchery.
the hatchery, there was a nest in the logo. I want to what I call the Joy Academy. I want to I'll open a space where people can come and take classes of any kind. They don't have to be about psychics or, astrology, any kind of class, guitar lessons, knitting, crochet, making
Mhm.
pottery, whatever, and find something that lights their heart up and makes them reconnect to the youthful parts of them that they have disconnected. And because most people walking around the earth are 70% of people are some kind of generator who are here to create joy in order to draw on their best opportunities. So I'm like, if we can make a school for that where you can come find joy, 70% of people are going to be doing a whole lot better, and they're going to make that a lot easier on the 30% who have to live with them. And you are very passionate about workforce development and trades for kids and getting them into things that are sort of non-traditional pathways, because the
Mhm.
traditional pathways aren't really all that paved with gold anyway.
No, turns out.
And I'm wondering if there's like a dovetail for that for you. I don't know.
I have been thinking about this for a while. So maybe this will bring up some funders for me.
Yeah, maybe we
But,
need
like,
to dust off the model
I
and
know
share
I did
it
just find the
with.
paperwork the other day, and I'm like, "I'm gonna
Oh,
keep this in my work bag because I love this."
yeah. Let's give it some love and some energy there. And the world is changing. And yeah, and if we could create spaces for people to learn something authentic as opposed to what's expected. I mean, I wish less kids went to college. I wish more kids would go like, you know. Ooh, Anna, I'm just noticing this.
Ooh,
You are in the middle of something called your nodal opposition. So
that
this is
sounds like pasta. What is happening?
oh, when you're so again, this goes with the emotional garage sale, but your nodal opposition happens like every 18 or so years. The nodes come back to where they started, and sometimes they're in conjunction and staring at
Mhm,
them, and sometimes they're opposing them. But basically, this has everything to do with like an inventory of your life. Where have I been? Where am I going? What is next for me? The other thing that really comes up around this, and this is where that emotional garage sale comes up. I have been talking about this for a long time with clients and within my summer school program. It's a time when, it's like, say you're having a garage sale. There's certain stuff you just know you're ready to get rid of. I'm never gonna use that bread maker. I'm so
mhm.
done with that ironing board. Like, whatever you're gonna get rid of, like, no big deal. But the challenging part is the stuff that you still don't use, but you love it. You're like, "Oh, I
Yeah,
really love that. I have memories around that." Or maybe it was something from when the kids were little, and you're like, "Oh, that's so sweet. I really need that." But you don't. You don't
yeah.
need it. There's no room for it in your life, and it's clogging up what I'm saying clogs up what's meant to come next. So you're kind of in that garage sale period, emotionally speaking, where there's stuff that you need to like decide. Do I stay? Does this go? Does this get to go? What are my priorities? And I think it lines up with what you were just saying about I can't be everywhere and be everything to everybody. I have to decide. That's the flavor of the energy you're living in right now is like,
Mhm.
how do I decide what gets to stay and what gets to go?
Yeah.
Is I don't know if that makes sense for you for where you're living right now.
It does. I
Yeah.
have to Marie Kondo my feelings? What?
Yeah. I mean, that doesn't happen every day. And the other thing that doesn't happen every day and actually is going to happen for you in August
Mhm.
is Jupiter is going to cross your ascendant. And Jupiter crossing your ascendant is only gonna happen this one time. It hasn't happened since 2014. It's the start of a new 12-year cycle of your life.
Wow.
Jupiter is think of like the Kool-Aid man, like, "Hey, everybody, I got sugar for you," like handing out the goods. That's
Mhm.
Jupiter. The planet of blessings and abundance is going to cross your soul's purpose August 16th, 2026. So
August, that's very specific.
yeah, yeah, very specific. And actually, this podcast will come out the week before that
Oh, how funny.
happens. So maybe we do find that funder because they're listening to our ideas and think, "That's genius. These girls know what they're talking about."
I know.
The
That would
weaving
be
of the
great.
spiritual and the esoteric stuff with the practical and the community building and all the things that are meant to be happening in the life in the world right now.
Mm.
But yeah, so those are things that's happening. That's a huge moment. You could even look back, and I don't know if you know of anything that happened in September of 2014. Was that the year you went to grad school or was it? later.
Oh my God, I think it was.
Okay. So that was your last pass at having Jupiter cross your ascendant. There's a cycle. I always tell my clients if Jupiter is about to cross your ascendant, then you need to sit down with Jupiter. You know it's coming. And think of Jupiter. This is just fun science facts. This isn't even astrology. Jupiter is the only planet that gives off more light than it receives from the sun. So it's just a big, giving, abundant energy. It's like this big happy planet that's like, "Hey," I always and you'll like this because you're a Christmas person, because of your birthday. I always think of Jupiter as the ghost of Christmas present from Scrooge. The guy's
Mhm.
got, like, ivy in his hair, and there's, like, food for days, like, "Hey, everybody come and sit at my table, have some wine, have a drink, have a grape leaf," like, that's Jupiter to me. It's just this, like, giving energy. So when Jupiter crosses your ascendant, it only happens every 12 years. It's that kickoff, right? It's that kickoff. Like, yeah. So it's a really robust time. I always tell my clients, write Jupiter a letter. I know this sounds weird, but like, hey, Jupiter, I was reflecting on the last 12 years since you last came by. And these are the things that grew for me and the things that I really loved and the things that I didn't. And I want more of this and less of that. And that can really help you prioritize what you want to see come next. Yeah.
Idea.
Jupiter is gonna do that. And then Jupiter's next pass, next summer, is going to trine your midheaven, so your place of career, your what you're here to do and shine with, all at the same time that Saturn's gonna sit on that to concretize you as the expert and the responsible authority in your own life. So that's happening all next summer. So you got between now and next summer to figure it all out, write Jupiter some notes and tell him what you want. But think of it as like a manifesting opportunity,
Yeah.
but also I think it would go well with your sensibilities as your Virgo stuff. Would love to have a list. And I always think
I do
too, and
love
I
a
know
list.
you know this one too, because I know you love practical magic, but I always think about when Sally, as a child, was like manifesting this very complicated, impossible to be real man for herself.
Mhm.
And she almost made it so hard that it couldn't be real. But
Mhm.
it was because she did it. And I think this is a moment. When Jupiter comes by, it is a moment to manifest like that. So,
Mhm. Note on manifestation, it is
yeah.
real.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah.
And when Brian, my partner, and I got together, years before that, I had put together a list, and I think you were the one who told me to do this. Actually, it was you and Diana from Flickr told me to make a very specific list of what I wanted in a partner. And I was like, "This seems kinda weird." She's like, "No, seriously, be specific." I'm like, "Okay." That's, like, goes against everything that we learned, like, don't
Yeah.
be specific.
Yeah.
So I did. I made a list of 72 things that I looked for in a partner, and can I tell you that when Brian and I got together, I found the list shortly after because, then you make the list and then you hide it away
Tuck it
so you
away,
don't.
sure,
Yeah,
much like your
exactly.
Jupiter letter, you don't have to stare at it every day, yes.
And I found the list and I looked at it and I was like, every single one of those things he matched. And like I showed him the list and he was like, he started crying. He's like, "Oh my God, this is me." I'm like, "I know it's you." Like, this is so weird.
Oh, Brian's
I
the
know.
best, I
I
love it.
know. He
See?
really is.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah,
you.
love it, Brian is the best, yeah,
So yeah,
he's
manifestation is real. I'm going to get real specific with Jupiter. So
yeah, I mean, it's like, listen, I'm of the mindset, like, why do we think we have all this time? I mean, the world's a bouillabaisse of hot mess, and so we don't always have time. Let's just make what we can do now while we can and, like, whatever that looks like, and
yeah.
even if we start with baby steps, it's better than no steps at all, right?
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
yeah. Yeah, I'm into it. So, yeah, get your Jupiter letter going, and the same is true for anyone else. Anna, you just happen to catch us at the right time that you
Mm,
have that, but
great.
I want you to know that there are 6 lines in human design, 1 through 6, and it's generally any because there's 6 lines and the amount of channels and stuff, it would be a lot to have more than 6 of any one line, so if they
Mhm.
see that, I will mention it to people. You have 9 line 6s, 9, so that's a lot of line 6s. When I talked about that experimenter, teacher energy,
Mhm.
that's you. Like, you're meant to be doing the teaching of some kind. You're meant to be the expert and figure it out and share, so just word to the wise. That's a you thing. So that's a
Thank you.
domination thing that I wanted to check that. I just have to check because I'm gonna laugh about this if I don't. I want to see if Fran is also a mutable person because I think that she is. Although she's a bossy Aries.
Mhm.
Um, let's see. Fran has mutable. It's her dominant element. Fire mutable. That's it. That's you and Fran. I am the air mutable. She is the fire mutable, and so are you.
I love this.
Yeah. So
This
fun
makes so
time.
much sense.
We'll have Fran come out one day. She'll be like, I don't believe it. I don't like any of this. It's
I know.
fine.
She
We're making it up. I don't trust
go
that.
against everything.
No.
Or she'll say, "What does that mean?
Tell
What
me
does that
again.
mean?" Yeah.
No. You son of a Yeah. Anyway. So so that is what I think. I mean, we could go on for 2 more hours
I know,
about
right?
the wonders of these things and the energies of this, but, I am forever blessed to have you in my life this time and all those many years ago when we
I
were
know.
making stuff in the woods. I'm like, "Let's do it. Let's go find somewhere to live." Little tiny house. Well, maybe we'll take turns. You have a weekend, I'll have a weekend. You do your potions, I'll write stuff. It'll be cool.
Yeah, I'm here for
Yeah.
that.
And then
This is why I think it's so fitting that I performed your wedding ceremony
That's
because
right. Anna also
we
married
were we
us.
were
Yeah.
married in another life.
We should have totally talked about that, all the stuff that went on around that, how you accidentally wore my mother's dress to my wedding, and
Yeah,
when the lover's card came busting out of your purse or something, like, there was so much that went on at that wedding too.
there was a
Fun
lot.
stuff, yeah. But
Mhm.
anyway, we'll have you back for a part 2, we'll talk
Oh,
about it.
yeah.
That'd be fun. So, yeah, just remind everybody, Anna's podcast is called Let's Just Go for One, so if you're
Mhm.
into the Bravo scene, you wanna hear Anna's very personal information, go ahead, find Anna as
Take a
well.
listen.
But I am always grateful for all the, listeners and for people who are paying attention and curious about this stuff. If you wanna know this sort of stuff about yourself, I am always willing to talk astrology and human design with whoever would like to talk about it, so please look me up, and I'll put my contact information in the show notes as well. But yes, Anna, thank you so much for taking time out of your life to spend with me here.
What a joy it is to spend time with you.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
thank you for having me.
Yes, thank you for being here. So, and thank you all for being here as well. Come back next time. Please don't forget to give me ratings and stuff because I'm apparently a ratings whore trying to just get people to do a podcast. But if you could
okay.
do that, you could do that. So, in the meantime, just keep looking for the magic and your own signs from spirit. So, thank you, everybody.
Bye.